Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's RigER webinar. Let me introduce myself. My name is Dasha, and I'm Marketing Coordinator, and I will be hosting this webinar for you today. We are very active on social media, so please follow us there to keep up to date with the latest company news, events, as well as industry updates. You can now see all the profiles, so just find us in any social media you prefer and stay in touch. Today we are going to talk about CRM for oilfield businesses. A CRM can provide your sales team with a convenient and efficient way to record and track the activities and manage leads and contacts from prospect qualification to close deals and beyond. Feel free to ask any questions if you have. We will have a Q&A session in the end of our webinar. And now let me introduce to our speakers. So today they are Arsena, Product Manager, and Gleb, VP of Operations. And just a quick overview of what we're going to discuss today during this webinar. So today we'll talk about oilfield sales process in general, including price management, quotation process, participants, and documents. We will explain CRM concept of RigER and show what documents you can create and use to track your contacts. You will also see a short demo of lead workflow to understand the whole process, and you'll learn how to set up email notifications. Before we start, for those who don't know much about us, I would like to make a short introduction of our company. RigER is a flagship product of Belkasoft Corporation, which is a rapidly growing company offering software development and management consulting services for oilfield service and equipment rental businesses. It was recently named the best oil and gas software development firm in North America, which we are extremely proud of. And our core focus, as you can see, help companies go paperless, and we also offer customized solutions for any business needs. And what is very important nowadays, our solutions can be integrated to almost any popular software used by companies in oilfield. We have quite a few products in our RigER product family that include RigER Cloud Oilfield, which is the basic product. We also have several mobile applications that sync all information with cloud database, and that connects back office with the people in the fields. There are some sub-industry applications like RigER downhole tools, and we have also solutions for telecom equipment rentals, waste management, rig movers, and more. Belkasoft is a global company. As you can see on the map, we have 2 offices in North America with headquarters in Calgary and 1 office in Houston. We also have a support office in Europe, as well as software development department. Now I wanted to show you some of the companies that we've been working with and enjoying helping with their operations management. They vary in terms of size and the type of the equipment and the focus of the operations. A lot of different clients from different sub-industries, and new ones are constantly joining us. So I think we can go further, and I will pass the microphone to Gleb. He'll start with the oilfield sales process.
Thank you very much, Dasha, for this quick introduction. It was pretty interesting, as usual. So, hello, everyone, again. My name is Gleb Kovitz, and I'm VP of Operations in RigER. So, during this webinar, I'm going to talk about the general oilfield sales process, how it happens in the oilfield business, and also we'll cover in details what you can do in RigER in order to track your sales, companies, contacts, etc. So how you can process the jobs and generate quotes out of RigER for your clients. Let's start first with a quick overview of the price management functionality in RigER. So for your disposal, there are a few documents that you can use to set up a prices in RigER and then use them down the road whenever you generate a new quote for the customer. But basically we structure our prices in 2 different documents, like a price list, which is actually the standard pricing for all the clients or across the board. So you can set up the standard price list for all your equipment and all your services that you provide, and then use these prices to build quotes for the customers and use these prices in your jobs. And the second level of the pricing structure is the document which we call price agreement. Price agreement is more specific price list, which can be created for a particular client, and also it can be separated by different clients divisions, meaning different geographical areas or clients types of activities or types of businesses. And also you can set up a price agreement for a particular period of time. So whenever you generate a new quote during this time period for the client, the quote will automatically pull the prices from this price agreement. So it's kind of automation in the system that allows you to build your quotes pretty quick based on the prices that you have agreed with the customer. So you can also consider the price agreement as the master pricing agreement for the client for period of days, months, or even years. So say you set up a price agreement for the client for the next year with a 10% discount, because price agreement also allows you to set discounts for the customer, either for the whole price agreement or for each line on this price agreement, you can set a separate discount. And then once you do this master price agreement with a client, you can send it to the customer for the signature, they sign it, they send it back to you, and then you use these prices in every job that you generate throughout the next year. Now you see on your screen on this flowchart that the next document in the rentals is the rental service agreement, which actually represents the customer's job. So sometimes we call it job pricing because nevertheless that you set up a price list and price agreement, you still have an option to apply different prices in the rental service agreement. So for example, if the client asks for a 15% discount, particularly for this job, you can do that within the rental service agreement. And rental service agreement can have these specific details about the client's location, which is very important in the RigER system. And then you just build the list of equipment that you're going to provide to the customer and services that you will do for them, and that's your job actually prices. Now, as you see, there can be multiple quotes generated out of the rental service agreement, because rental service agreement is the document that sales personnel works with, and whenever you do the rental service agreement, you can change prices on it if this person has these permissions in the system. And for example, if you send a quote to the customer, but they disapprove it and they ask for some changes on it, you can change the rental service agreement and print another quote and send to the customer. So multiple quotes can be printed out of the rental service agreement. Now, a few words about the general sales process in the oil field. Usually the salesperson starts with a quote or rental service agreement, and everything can be also done on the mobile application on the screen of your mobile phone. So you can build a new rental service agreement, print a quote, send it to the customer via email client on your phone, and then if the customer sends you back the approved quote, you can upload this PDF file to the existing rental service agreement on the mobile phone and send for the approval to manager, to either sales manager or operations manager or general manager. And once the general manager approves this job with prices and equipment, it then sends further to the dispatcher to generate job tickets or work orders, etc., for the field techs. Now, let's talk a little bit about the general CRM concept that we have put in place in the RigER system. And we have 3 documents in a chain that can be generated one by one. First of all, we start with a lead document, and lead, we consider this as the sales opportunity that comes in to your sales personnel. And lead is a particular event of the request or the request or for some equipment or services. So you can create a lead for the new client, for the new contact, or even for the existing contact. So if this contact has been set up previously in the system, you can generate a new lead document for this. contact, and also you are able to track the status of this lead. Either it will be qualified or disqualified, or it will be active lead. And depending on the status of this lead, then you can generate a sales event. So sales event is actually a action before the quote, because it lists all the again all the equipment and services, and you can also track the source of information that came, like from which this lead came. It can be either email, call, meeting, or a message. So you can select these from the drop-down menu, and we will show that in details in a few minutes. And then if this sales event has been again approved by the customer, and the quote can be generated based on the sales event document. So you don't have to create absolutely a new document. You just click generate, and all the information that a sales event document contains will flow to the quote document, and that's very easy to set up. So, and the quote, as I already said in the previous slides, it's based on the sales event, and it lists the whole list of equipment and service list. It has prices, it has quantities of the equipment or services, and definitely it shows the client the subtotal for different types of activities, and then it has also total amount including taxes. Now let's switch gears and let's talk more precisely about the CRM documents, how it looks like, and I'll pass the mic to Arsen, which will explain it in details.
Thank you, Gleb. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, let's talk about the CRM module documents. The first document that we will talk about today would be the lead document, and itself it's represented as a single document in the journal of leads, which can be considered as the database in your CRM module in RigER. And you can have a track of all your leads depending on the dates, depending on the contact information, client information, and the statuses of the document. As you can see, while generating a new lead document, you have several options to include information. So you need to input the description of the lead, and you can either populate this card based on the new information, or you can select existing information from the database. We will see more precise description of this in our demo in a few seconds. But now let's move to the next document in the chain, which would be the sales event for the qualified leads. Now, the sales document itself already contains some information that we have inputted in the lead document, but it also has information more precise that we need for this particular job. So we can input the actual direction of the event, whether it was us getting in touch with the client or the client has gotten in touch with us. We select the type of the event. We indicate some initial value maybe for the job that we consider might be viable. We also include all the equipment and services details in one single window to be able to pass it to the next stage, which is the RSA document. So let's move on to the next slide and see how we can populate the RSA and create a quote. So the information from the sales event document will be automatically populated in the new generated RSA, and we will have all the items and services and maybe additional fees accordingly populated in their corresponding tabs, and the client information would be there, and we will need to adjust the RSA to make some changes date-wise or maybe type-wise, and we are ready to generate a quote from within the RSA. So next would be the live demo, or rather our demo video we have created for this process, and you will see in detail how it's going to be. All right, let's see CRM module in action. To open up the CRM module, we just need to click on the sales menu, and we can see the CRM section right there in the middle. The CRM consists of two documents as of right now, and those would be the leads and sales events documents. Let's explore leads documents first. By clicking on leads, we will see the leads journal, which basically is the list of all the lead documents that we have in the system as of right now. To create a new one, we just need to click on the Create button, and this will open up a new item creation card for us. So we will need to name the lead. Let's say it's going to be the name of the company. Oil and Gas Co. maybe. We can also identify the source of information, maybe social media. And we can continue building our lead either based on a new information or based on an existing information from the database. For example, if we click on the existing radio button, it will allow us to choose the company name, the contact, and the location information from the existing details in the database. For instance, we can select a new oil company, we can select the contact for that company, and the information about phone and email would be populated automatically. And we can also select the location information. Or we can start building our lead based on new information, which we will do right now. Contact for that would be, let's say, Tom Oiler. The client would be Oil and Gas Co. A fictional phone number, of course. This would be Tom's email address as a company representative. And we will need to also identify the location for the job. So let's create a new location in the system by this section. Maybe the tree rig. And we can move to the next tab if we need to provide job description information. And this tab would be represented by two common fields, which maybe you know already. The external comment and the internal comment fields. The external would show up on the print forms for the client, and the internal comment field would be used as means of communication between RigER users. Now the lead document is almost ready. And I would also like to mention that it has statuses for reference as of right now. So if we click on the status drop-down box, we can see that we have 5 different statuses right here. Those would be the new, qualified, disqualified, active, and close. And by selecting either one of these, we can identify the stage that the lead is in as of right now. So after providing all this information, we just need to click on Save. And this will create not only the lead document in the system, but also the new company, the new contact, phone number, email, and the new location information in RigER database. The next logical step in RigER after creating a lead event would be to generate a sales event. So by clicking on Generate, we can select Sales Event, and this will open up new sales event creation card for us with all the pre-existing information from the leads document. So we can set the date. Let's say it's going to be 13th of January. We can choose the event direction, the sales event direction. It's going to be either incoming or outgoing, meaning either we're going to reach the client or the client has reached us. We can indicate the type of the event, meaning call, email, meeting, message, or other. The salesperson field would be auto-populated with the name of the RigER user that is creating this sales event document. We can set the anticipated value of this job. Let's say it's going to be $11,500. We can also select the state or the province and the sales area if we have such in the system. Let's see if we do. Paradise Hill. Sounds good. Then we will move on to the actual inventory and service information that we will need for this job, and we will start adding them. So we can select, let's say, a light tower for this job, maybe a couple of them. Let's select another, let's say, a generator, and add a couple of services, delivery and pickup. Now you can see that I am adding items under the existing item column. We can also add non-existent items under this sales event document, meaning those items that we do not possess as of right now in the system, but we can add them to be later added on. And I can just add a blank line, double click on the new item cell under the new item column and add, let's say, LED lamps. And afterwards, when my sales event is posted, my operations team can see that we will need to have LED lamps for this job, and they will need to create this item in the system to be able to dispatch later on for the job. So let's remove this line and see if everything is okay with our document. We can also have comments, again, external and internal comments. And we also have statuses for our sales event document. So by clicking on it, we can see that we have open, processing, done, and canceled. Again, a reference point for us to see at which stage our sales event document is. So let's click on post. And assuming that this sales event went correct and everything is good, we can actually generate a rental service agreement right from within this document. So by clicking on generate, we can click on rental service agreement, and the new rental service agreement card, creation card, will open for us with all the necessary information populated from the sales event document. So we will need to adjust some information, like the date. Let's say it's going to be 15th of January. We can set the anticipated job start date. Again, let's do the 15th of January. We will need to adjust pricing if there is a need, and we can see that our light tower is missing a price. So let's add a price for the light tower. We can go to the services and parts menu and see that everything is okay there. We can also add additional information as required. And when done, we just post this information in the system. And let's check if the tax is, yes, we will need to set the tax schedule. And returning to the rental equipment, all good, and we can post. Now, posting made this RSA active in the system, and we can actually right now print a quote for our client. And we can either save it to PDF, we can print it, we can email it, or we can just show them on the electronic device. So this is the basic flow of the CRM module that we have as of right now in the system. Again, it consists of leads and sales events documents in the chain. So the leads will trigger the sales event generation, and the sales events document will trigger the rental agreement generation.
All right, thank you very much, Arsen. So let's move on to the next very important and useful tool that helps you automate your operations with quotes and other documents. And this tool is email notifications. So RigER allows you to set up automatic email notifications, or emails actually sent by the system automatically based on the number of triggers. And you can set up these triggers for the quotes and RSA as well. So whenever you generate a new quote for the customer and you change this document status to ready to be sent, then once this status is triggered in the system, the RigER system will send an email to the recipient. Either it's external recipient as your client, or it's internal recipients. And this email will contain also the PDF attachment, which is the quote itself and other important information about this quote. So this notification setup allows you to build different document statuses, triggers, and also enable attachments to be included in the emails, or build a list of recipients for this kind of information. So another useful tool that you can track your incoming leads and clients' requests with is the missed opportunities feature that allows you to change the status of every single rental service agreement, which is also a quote, to rejected. And once this rejected status is triggered, you will also have a field that you can pre-populate with your own list of reasons to miss. And if it's a canceled by customer reason to miss, then you can select this one, or again, it's very flexible to set up your list of reasons. And then during the period of time, once you process your jobs and rental service agreements, you can then build a report, which is missed opportunities report in the upper part of this slide. And you see that you can analyze the customers that rejected your quotes, or if this was canceled by our company, so we can also analyze why it was canceled. And throughout the period of, say, 6 months or a year, we'll have pretty much clear information and trends, what's going on with our quotes. That also helps sales personnel understands how they interact with their clients. So now let's talk a little bit about the sales reports, because that's important part of the sales processes and operations. And Arsen, please welcome.
Yes, thank you, Gleb. And yes, about the reports, we do have several sales reports in the system, about 10, I believe, and we will talk about 3 of them today. So the first one would be the client leads report, which is fairly a new report and a simple one, but you can see that it provides the necessary viable information that we need to have about the leads in the system. It's filterable by date. We can set up a time period and we can actually select a client or a lead, actual lead, or the status of the lead document. So pretty simple, but yet informative report. Let's move to the next one, which would be the daily sales report. This report will be necessary for, let's say, a sales manager or management team who would like to see how the sales process is ongoing and which salesperson does have what kind of actions in the system. So it will be grouped by the salesperson, and it will show all the activities concerning that salesperson during the time frame that we select and the client that we can filter down to. The last report, the list of sales events, is a list of sales event documents that we have created in the system, either through the leads document generation or directly through the sales events journal. And it will show us all the sales events that we have based on the time period, client, contact, or the status of the sales event document.
All right, good. Thank you very much, Arsen. Now we'll come to the Q&A session of this presentation, and I will ask Dasha to tell us if we've got some questions about the topic.
Yeah, we actually do have a few questions. So the first question is, can I track my leads in mobile application?
Good question, and that's really reasonable, because most of the operations that are done right now in these modern days are done on the mobile applications. And as you may already know, we do have different mobile applications for the RigER system, depending on the extent and depending on the number of functions that you'd like to perform on the mobile. You can have sales RigER application for sales personnel, where they can generate new rental service agreements and quotes. As of right now, we don't have this CRM functionality in our mobile application, but since it's pretty new, we haven't just had a chance to implement it to the mobile applications, but that's definitely on our development roadmap. So we're going to implement it to the mobile applications, and in the future versions of this application, you'll get these updates. So please stay tuned, and if you don't use the mobile applications of RigER so far, please just contact us and we'll implement that in your operations.
Thank you so much, Gleb. Another question I have from Jan. Thank you, Jan, for the question. So the question is, how can I track quotes that were sent to a client?
That's a good one, actually, because that really reflects what we have discussed at the beginning of this presentation, when I showed you that one rental service agreement as the electronic document can be populated as the several quotes. Depending on the information that you have in the rental service agreement, we can customize your quote print form, and whenever you change some details on the rental service agreement, you can reprint the quote for the customer and send it to him or to her. So, and then it just a matter of the saving this PDF file to the rental service agreement electronic document in the attached section. So as many quotes as you send to the customer, you can also attach them to the database and track them in this way. Or another approach is just to copy the rental service agreement and create a new one from it, enter new details, generate a quote, and that will be your history of the quotes that you sent to the customer.
Okay, and one more question. How can we see our leads in the sales pipeline?
Okay, so in the leads card, you remember that we have a status of the lead. So yeah, on this screenshot, you can see that it can be new lead, or it can be qualified or disqualified lead. So as of right now, we don't have this kind of cool visual pipeline that will explain you how your leads are allocated between these statuses, but this report actually shows you the statuses of different leads. But again, we're developing this module, and we will be adding these visual effects to your dashboards, so you will see clearly what kind of leads you have in different stages of the sales pipeline. And moreover, as of now, we have 5 different statuses for the leads. But again, with your contribution and your suggestions of the different statuses that you may probably use in your operations, we will add them to the system, so it will be more detailed, and you will have more stages for your sales pipeline.
Thank you so much. I have no more questions as for now.
All right, that sounds good. We've come to the end of our presentation today. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us or just give us a quick call. We're online in different social media, so please stay tuned, and we are always open for your suggestions, your ideas, and your improvement ideas. So please contact us, and we'll definitely take it. Okay, thank you very much for attending this webinar. We'll stay in touch. We'll send you more details about the upcoming webinars, so please register to them, and we'll talk to you in a few weeks.
Thank you, and bye. See you next week.
Goodbye.